This can be off record. I mean, if you want to rub bellies, you go for it. I am psychonetically rubbing my belly.
Psychonetically?
Yeah.
The fuck does that even mean? Just Give Her A. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Just Give Her A podcast. It's us, the Buds. I'm Colin.
Hey, I'm Tyler.
And the first thing we're going to talk about today is we have a Facebook page that is correct.
Woohoo.
You heard it here. You heard it first, and by that I mean people have already liked the page, so if you haven't liked it already, you're too slow. Like the fucking page.
Pretty sure at least 2 times at the end of a couple podcasts, Colin has brought up, and we're going to have a Facebook page next time.
And the next time finally happened. So we have made it. It is Just Give Her A podcast. Or apparently Facebook has that weird @ thing that Twitter kind of has. If you do the @ thing, I don't know how the fuck that works, but it's Just Give Her A. So yeah, we have a Facebook page. Feel free to go there, post things, post that you hate us, post that you love us, post pictures. I don't know. We'll figure out how to really make it function and stuff later.
Don't post nudes.
I mean, you can post nudes for me. It's fine. Only Bob's and Vaganas, though. But yeah, so, and right into our next point, recently, about a week and a half ago, Facebook got, quote unquote, hacked. So the way this hacked work...
I think Colin just got hacked.
Anonymous got to me. The way this hack worked is, so what they did is they found a way to hack into your, it affected the view as. They exploited a bug that allows them to view your profile as if it was your own profile kind of thing. And it seizes control of access tokens. As to what access tokens really do, it just essentially keeps you logged on and stuff. Long story short, it allowed people to potentially post on your wall. It allowed them to see private messages. It allowed them to see personal stuff, but it didn't allow them to change anything on your profile. Now, the biggest fear about this hack wasn't what it would do to your profile on Facebook, but it's what it would do to the fact that you could have third-party people that you pay money for example. So you have Spotify, you connect it through your Facebook. People, they were afraid that these hackers could get your payment information through Facebook to Spotify. The stolen tokens allowed viewing like posts and probably post statuses and share things, but it wouldn't affect passwords or anything. So essentially what happened is Facebook reset a bunch of passwords. So if your password got reset, it was just a safety precaution. There's no need to change passwords. And by reset, I mean, instead of you being able to just automatically log onto the website, you would have to re-put in your information again, which everyone knows is annoying as all hell, but that was probably why. This affected 50 million users. Facebook has over 2 billion users on it. It was big. Like, it was another problem with Facebook, considering the whole controversy they had before. Now, on the flip side of that, so that was September 28th. On October 1st, Facebook's going to be hit by a class action lawsuit from Canada, from us. So for people that don't know what a class action lawsuit is, which I didn't tell a couple days ago, it's a type of lawsuit where one of the parties is a group of people who are represented collectively by a member of that group. So essentially it's Canada versus Facebook at this point. It's Charney, I believe I'm saying that right, Lawyers PC. It's a Toronto law firm, and Facebook is obligated to ensure that its information is properly protected. Another thing that happened is it was also it was the view as bug, but it was apparently also a video upload tool bug that Facebook's had since July 2017. And again, it just allowed them to do. It was just everything I just described.
Facebook has had the vulnerabilities since July 2017. That's crazy. So they knew that they had this problem this entire time, but nobody's done anything about it, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
Maybe they just thought, oh, like, we can fix it later.
So yeah, that's all about Facebook. That was again like last week.
I guess they found out that something was wrong as early as September 16th, so it took them about 11 days until they actually stopped it. So it was
Yeah.
around September 28th that people found out that this was even happening.
Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg didn't know anything about it at first. Mainly, Mark Zuckerberg probably doesn't know what the fuck's going on with Facebook anymore. He probably doesn't give a shit. He's rich.
I feel like he's going to step down.
Oh, yeah. He's probably going to step down really soon. He's going to pull a Steve Jobs.
Or Elon Musk stepped down, I believe.
Yes.
But I think that was due to some kind of legal dispute. I don't know.
I think so.
I'd have to look into it.
All right, so that's our little spielio on Facebook for all you Facebookers out there. Now, Tyler, with all that being said, will this change your Facebook habits at all?
Not really. I think I'm just going to use Facebook the same as I've always used it.
Okay, same here. I really don't care. At this point, I have accepted so many terms and agreements on games that I haven't read and shit. That
I think
Satan-
ever since I've been clicking agree or disagree to those, I mean, I pretty much always click agree. I don't think I've ever read any of it.
I think I read a bit of one once and then I got bored. So I've probably sold my soul to the devil like 37 times. I've probably given away my information a half a dozen times. And at this point in our technological fucking pursuit to fuck ourselves, we are able to hack others with just blinking our eyes at this point. Like, everything's hackable to the point where people are worried that if your debit card's in your fucking pocket, some guy can walk up with his cell phone, rub pockets with you, and take your data from
Yeah,
it.
now they're selling wallets with protection against that. Like,
It's just ridiculous. You can literally fucking hack anything at this point.
and then we're
So,
going to get chips implanted in our skin, and people are going to be able to biohack us.
Yep, it'll be stupid. So,
The future.
woo. So yeah, that's our little spielio on Facebook. So the next thing we want to bring up is we finished Spider-Man. We finished the campaign,
I cried
the story. I teared up. Tyler bawled.
like a baby boo.
We didn't finish it together, but I only finished it, a day or two after you?
Yeah, like 2 days after me, I think you finished it.
I
But I kind of stopped playing. I didn't finish all the side stuff. You 100%ed the game.
I have platinumed the game. I have 100%ed the campaign. The only thing I could technically still do is get the gold on all the challenges, but fucking there's no chance I'm doing that for them all. I suck at most of them. But yeah, it was good. It was a good game. It was a very good ending. There were some really crazy plot twists at the end. So
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. We are about to experience spoilers to the thing we are talking about.
Aunt May dies. Holy fuck. It was devastating and completely unexpected.
I had heard rumors that it was going to happen. I didn't want to think that it was going to happen, but when it did, that's when I started tearing up. I know, Colin, why didn't you like how it happened?
Because it was a really touching scene, really cute, really touching scene, and you're like, because you walk in and it's Aunt May in the bed or whatever, and
Peter's in his spider suit.
it's Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like, don't worry, man, we're gonna help you, and she goes, take off the mask, and Spider-Man's like, what? And then so she goes, I want to see my nephew, and you're like, oh, she knows, and he's like, you know? She's like, yeah, I've known for a while now, and I've always been worried, kind of thing. And then there's this like touching moment, and then Peter decides, like, he has this moment where he can use the serum to save Aunt May or use it to save the thousands that are infected. And he's sitting there having the struggle. He takes the needle away from her IV injection, and then she immediately dies. Like, it's just, she's just like,
It's not like think about it. Everyone else in the city still had time to they had the disease in their bodies or whatever. He had the time to go and save them, but for whatever reason, Aunt May just instantly died. I mean, I get it. She's older, maybe.
but insta-death.
It was literally as soon as Spider-Man makes the decision not to save her in that moment, dead. I cried. I bawled my eyes out. I thought it was sad.
I teared up. I thought it was sad too. It was cute. But that was the only thing that took me out of it because I was like, God, what? Jesus, he died real fast. Then you had one of the post-credit scenes, or during credit scenes, because video game credits go on for like 4.5 days, with the Miles Morales scene. That was cute. You're helping Miles move into a room, and he's like, Peter, I need to talk to you with something weird's been happening to me. So Peter awkwardly goes, okay, well, because you're growing older, you'll experience different things in your body. And then Miles is like, no, not that. And then he jumps on the ceiling and stays there.
Yeah, and then Peter fucking jumps right on the ceiling with him. And they just have that moment where they look at each other like, yeah.
And Miles figures out that he's Spider-Man. Then the very, very, very last scene you see.
This is the one people have very intense debates over exactly what it's showing.
It is weird. It's weird. It's a weird little scene that.
So, like you said, when you're going through, because you go through, what's his name, Norman Osborn?
Norman, yeah,
you go through his room in one of the sneaking missions, you can look at everything in his house.
Yep.
A lot of stuff passed me by without me giving it a second thought because I don't know the lore.
I was gonna say you weren't looking for Easter eggs. I was.
Yeah, so Colin looked at every detail, and some of the stuff you found was.
Well, you find the mask that lets you find the secret room, and everyone's assuming that mask is the first step into him becoming Green Goblin. Then you get into the secret room, and you look around there, and you just see other spider upgrades, like different spiders that they're trying to bio-create.
Yeah, each one has a number, and there is a board you can check, and it shows like what each spider's power is.
Yeah, and there's like a camouflage spider, which Miles Morales has in the comic books. And then there's like an electrified web spider and all that kind of stuff. And as you go through this room, you look at it all, but there's this giant machine that you can't even look at or access or anything on the one side. So you're like, whatever. So end game, at very end of the credits, Norman Osborn walks in and opens this thing up. As he opens this thing up, you see a floating person. Now, Harry Osborn has been quote unquote gone the entire game, and you
on
think
a trip to Europe.
You just think vacation until you find out during the sneaking mission that he got sent there for like medical purposes to fight this disease he has. So you're like, "Oh, that's weird." Okay, and then you find out that. Because this machine opens up, you see someone floating in what looks like symbiote. And you're like, wait a second. And so Norman has this giant spielio about, oh, don't worry, my son. I won't let you die like your mother did. You're like, oh, so Harry hasn't even left the fucking apartment. And then Norman puts his hand on the glass, and then a symbiote-like web flings out and touches.
Yeah, like these little black tentacles, like, and stick against the screen, or the glass, rather.
Where Norman's hand is. So you're like, does that mean Harry becomes Venom? Or where the fuck
And that's
did
where
he get
people
the
are wondering
symbiote
what the
from?
hell it's about, because they're thinking, okay, is Norman about to become Green Goblin? Is Harry in this tank with a symbiote? Like Colin said, is he going to be Venom?
Where did the symbiote fucking come from?
There's a lot of open-ended questions there. I don't know if they're going to touch on this in the DLC. I doubt it. I
Probably
think this
not.
is sequel material.
Yeah.
And Colin and I talked about this with the sequel, I think, that because they've set up Miles Morales, he's got his powers by the very end. Very well, it very well could be that in the sequel, Miles Morales might be more of the protagonist, at least for part of the story. Or even potentially you could play between Peter Parker and Miles, because they're going to have slightly different spider powers.
But yeah, that's our take on Spider-Man. It was good. Definitely worth the
Great
play.
game, worth the money. Insomniac did a great job on this.
Can't wait for the DLC. Which then brings me to... So Tyler had never seen Spider-Man 3.
I have never watched Spider-Man 3 from 2007 with Tobey Maguire, otherwise known as Turtleface.
And so I showed him it the last night. Nope, the other night.
Two nights ago, yeah.
Because we were talking about the game, and we were talking about how Venom in theaters is getting very poor reviews. And so... I think you had asked if Venom was ever done on like big screen before.
Yeah, because Venom just came out a couple days ago, I guess. Everything I've seen about it has poor reviews. People are saying that it's too comical. they kind of ruined the Venom character. And I said, has Venom not been in a Spider-Man movie before? And Colin said, ho, 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 ho.
I think that was the exact impersonation of what I said, yes. And then, so it's on Netflix, and I was like, you want to watch it? He's like, sure, because he's thinking he's going to get the same Spider-Man experience the game gave him. Well, Tyler, you want to explain your lovely, joyous time watching that amazing movie?
I honestly don't think I've cringed that hard in a movie before. I had to get Colin to stop the movie multiple times so I could just... What the fuck did we just watch?
We had to drink a lot during that movie.
It just... Why? Why was that movie even made?
I forgot how bad it was until I had to rewatch it, and then I realized how bad it was.
I don't like who they picked for Venom, even. Because, honestly, the only thing I've really seen him in is that 70s show. And the whole time I just kept picturing him as, what's his name? Eric?
Yep.
The whole movie is bad. If you've never seen it, I suggest if you want to watch a cringe-worthy Marvel movie, fucking watch it. It's terrible.
You want to hate Peter Parker?
You hate Peter Parker in this movie. From the, like, even, okay, he gets taken over by the symbiote. Oh, should we say spoilers? Spoilers.
We'll insert the spoilers, but, I mean, it came out in fucking 2007. It's been 11 years.
Peter Parker is a piece of shit even before the symbiote takes him over. So the thing about the symbiote is it kind of controls you. It makes you a little more evil. It makes you do the things you wouldn't normally do. Maybe the deep, dark inner thoughts you have. Anyway, Peter Parker beforehand was already a fucking asshole. So there's the whole like fucking parade thing for for Spider-Man. Like, hooray, Spider-Man, here's the key to the city. You saved Gwen Stacy, who's the police captain's daughter or whatever. So they have this whole ceremony for
because they have a whole parade for that.
And so Spider-Man shows up, whatever. He's hanging upside down on the stage beside Gwen Stacy. And is he the one who says, how about a kiss for Spider-Man?
Yep. Give him a kiss. Go ahead.
He fucking does the upside down shit that he did with Mary Jane in the previous movie, or number one or whatever. She takes his mask off from his mouth up, and then they kiss. And of course, it's Gwen Stacy, and her father is like a high figure in the city, so everyone's taking pictures, and it's all the headlines after that. And Mary Jane, who he was just talking to before this, is in the audience watching, and he doesn't think there's a fucking problem with this. That is not Peter Parker. Come on.
So, needless to say, Tyler loved the movie.
It was fucking stupid.
It was a good movie.
That was the first point in the movie where I'm like, no, this is stupid. Is the symbiote on him right now?
Yeah, it was bad. I always forget how bad that movie is.
It's just...
Tyler was so angry, he looked up Sam Raimi to see if he had a fucking Twitter to tweet at him and tell me he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I was trying to find the director's social media so I could just tell him never to direct again. Not to be mean or anything.
No, you're right. That could be
Yes, that could be That's going to be a new thing now. All right, so that's Spider-Man 3.
That's Spider-Man 3. Tyler loved it. He's going to watch it again. 10 out of 10.
Fucking 10 out of 10 for a shit movie.
If you want to hop into reviews, I guess we can.
Sure. Do you want to do a cheers before we start?
Oh, yeah, we may as well. We haven't done that yet. In classic Just Give Her a podcast fashion, we're going to rub bellies and we're going to drink some whiskey, just some Canadian Club because we're cheap and gross.
Cheers.
Okay. So, we're going to review some things that we've watched recently. I'm going to be, I think, fairly quick on them. But most importantly, we're going to try not to spoil things. We're just going to make it a straight old-fashioned review. So, Netflix came out with an animated series called Final Space. And Tyler was like, you have to watch this fucking show. It's super good.
At this point, I was only three or four episodes in when I was telling Colin to watch it. It's 10 episodes out right now, season 1.
I killed it in about 2 days.
Yeah, same. We watched the end together.
It was a good show. It was a good show. It was really good. The writing is synopsis is a kind of dopey character. Is his prison sentence is 5 years on a spacecraft with no other human life, and it's his final days before being free, and he's clearly gone a bit fucking mental. He's really stupid and conceited, and the AI are funny. It has references to space, other space dramas. It has fucking some touching scenes that you would never expect. Like, oh man, there's plenty of.
When you first start the show, and I know Colin was thinking this. By the time he was like 2 or 3 episodes in, of course, a lot of American cartoons will have one of the main characters be just kind of stupid, you know? And so I agree with Colin. As the show's starting, you're like, oh, it's just another one of those show like main character's a big old dum-dum, haha. But they really do set it up well for him. Like, he's stupid, but he's not too stupid. Almost, I guess you could kind of compare him to Fry from Futurama, where they do have those episodes where he shows real emotion and compassion for his fellow peers, his love interests. They build the character quickly and very well.
I agree. Yeah, everyone's likable except for fucking
one character neither of us like. He could be out of the show for all we care.
Oh, he's so annoying.
Do you want to say who he is?
Fucking Tribor.
Tribor. He's stupid.
Who am I? That's right. I'm Tribor.
Or am I? He's funny a couple times.
He's funny at first.
And that's about it. And then he just seems like such a throwaway character.
And he just becomes he's like a throwaway character, like a leech. It's just,
he's the type of character that by the end of the first season, you're just like, okay, die. Just die. Go away, Tribor. Die. Die. Tribor. Which is funny because one of the characters, Kevin, who is the anti-insanity companion for Gary, who's the main character, it's set up that like he's super annoying and stupid, this robot Kevin, and Gary just hates him and always wants him to die. But as for me as the viewer, I don't know about Colin, I really like Kevin as a character. The anti-insanity robot, and he's driving Gary insane.
I did like Kevin.
I thought he was a great character. He added to the show for sure.
So we recommend it. It is a good show. Give it a quick glance if you want to. If you're perusing through Netflix,
it's regular length of a show. Like for American cartoons, what 20 to 30 minutes an episode. There's 10 episodes for the first season. It's all available right now.
Yep, it's good. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. The next movie on my list, I guess, is The Green Room that you made me watch the other night.
Yeah, I watched it for my second time with Colin the other night. I don't really like quote unquote like gore, thriller, horror type movies, but I do really enjoy this one. It's pretty short. I think it's only an hour and a half.
Yeah, and its concept isn't super outrageous or anything.
It's really easy to follow what's going on.
Yeah. Long story short, this punk rock band goes to a venue to perform.
They're playing, I think it's one of NoFX's songs. They perform. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They play Nazi Punks Fuck Off. I think that's the title. That's the main chorus. And they're playing to a bunch of Nazis, which sets the premise for the rest of the movie.
Well, actually, that's the thing with the movie, though, is the movie doesn't shove it in your face. What I thought going into this movie is going to be like fucking swastikas everywhere. And there were subtly the fucking SS symbol in the fucking back that no one noticed. But I thought it was going to be you're going to walk in and they're all going to be fucking decked out in legitimate fucking Third Reich gear and shit. But no, it was kind of an underplayed tone. But the general synopsis is band goes to play, they get there, they do their bit, they're going to leave, but they have to go back into the room that they waited in for a reason.
Oh, just to cut you off. To clarify, the Nazi Punks Fuck Off song is by Dead Kennedys.
Way to fact check yourself over there. Nerd.
I just had to make sure. Yeah, Nerd. Sorry, continue.
So they get back in and they realize that something has happened, and then they essentially get trapped in this room because the main Nazis that own this fucking bar are like, well, we can't have this getting out, and yeah, it just fucking goes from there. It's not super gory, really. I've seen much gorier. It's not that bad.
I'm not a fan of gore at all. And this was, again, I've seen this movie twice. For me, that's saying a lot. I don't watch a lot of movies. It was a low enough amount of gore that I could still watch it and I'm not grossed out. If there was any more, I might be a little grossed out. It's just just a couple little spots where it's like, ooh, that's kind of gross. If you're okay with gore, yeah, no, this movie's a breeze for you. Yeah, for sure.
Patrick Stewart's in it. He's
When
amazing.
I first saw it, I did not think that he would be in it. It seemed so out of character, and then he shows up, and he is one of the main antagonist in the movie, and it's hilarious because I never picture him as a bad guy.
Yeah, it's when Charles Xavier goes rogue, turns into a Nazi. Good movie. The ending to me was a little meh. I'm not gonna lie, but
They didn't set it up in a way that they could end it any other way is the problem. It all escalates really fast, and it just kind of ends. Mm-hmm. We'll just say that. Still, I say again, not a movie watcher. One of my favorite kind of gory action thriller horror, whatever you want to call it. It's worth a watch. It's worth at least one watch.
we gave it a gander for Halloween, which brings me to a question for you, listeners. If you have a Halloween movie suggestion you think we should talk about, review, watch, whatever, please let us know. We have a fucking Facebook page. You use that shit.
I like how vicious you get talking about the Facebook page. We have a fucking Facebook page. You better fucking go to it. If you don't go to that Facebook page, I fucking swear to God.
We'll take it down. Tweet at us, email us, comment on these videos, comment on SoundCloud, fucking throw a rock through a window. I don't know. Get creative. Just let us know. Give us a movie. I want to watch spoopy movies. It's Spooptober. And the final movie on our list of things to review is Downsizing. I watched it because I knew some people that were background actors in that movie. And
I came into the movie
20 minutes in?
20 minutes in, and I started from there because Colin had already started it. I think it's 2.5 to 3 hours long.
I think it's 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. Really interesting movie. I liked it. I did enjoy it. I did. Not a fan of the ending. It felt
Too
unfinished.
much going on.
Exactly. They tried to tell too much with not enough time, and I feel like a lot of movies do this these days. It would have been great as a TV series, I think, because there's so much that could have been done in this world. So set up the premise of it, Colin.
So scientists have been trying to figure out a way to reduce, pollution and fucking help put a stunt into the population issue we have and all that jazzeroni. So they figure out a way to shrink people down to like
I think it's 5 inches tall.
5 to 6
average.
inches, give or take, tall. And so they do it. And then they like tested it and yada yada. Years later, people are doing this, and then they get the movie.
Yeah, they had what, like
30,
I forget the number.
There's like 32 people originally.
Well, but then by the time the main story of the movie is happening, there's a handful of millions around the world, and a few of these like mini cities in different continents. So there is millions of people now shrunk, but not anywhere close to the billions on the planet.
Yeah. And then you move into your own little fucking suburbia.
Yeah, because they advertise to the people like you can shrink down and own a mansion-size home that's actually still way more energy efficient.
For like $3 our money, but every dollar our money transfers to this much dollars small people money, and then the main character shrinks down. He has an issue. on his shrink down.
Main character is Matt Damon, I believe.
The Matt Damon.
I'll always remember him as Matt Damon.
So he shrinks down. He ends up finding a big name in the small people world, I suppose, and then he goes on an adventure with this person. That's putting it very, very not spoilery at all. My issue is it tries to shovel too much in one movie, and you kind of lose the whole downsizing aspect after he gets downsized.
That was definitely a downside, to the movie. Was exactly that. After Matt Damon is downsized, for honestly the majority of the movie, you kind of forget that he's a small person. There's maybe a few little
Moments.
moments that, yes, he is a little person now. Other than that, it just feels like you're just watching a regular story play out. They don't play on the fact that these are tiny people living in a large world, which I think is something they missed out on, to be honest. It very well could have turned into a action adventure movie where, like, say the big people are coming to attack. I don't know. As soon as he was shrunk down, you forget that he's even little. He's just a regular dude living in a regular city in a regular house, which I really do feel like they missed out on that.
Overall, it was interesting enough to give it a quick look, I guess.
Again, coming from a guy that doesn't watch movies, I watched it to the end. Again, 20 minutes into the intro, but I don't know if I'll watch it again. Worth a watch, though. Worth a watch.
I was going to say, I probably won't watch it again. But
it's not something I'm like, ooh, yeah, that was really good. I'm going to go back to that. But no, I say watch it once. Yeah. I'd love to see another producer, director, whatever, pick up the concept or the name and make a show out of it. I think it would be a great show because you could build on all the stuff they missed out on in the movie.
Mm-hmm. And you could expand all the stuff they tried to plunge in there.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So that was our lovely review section. Let us know if you liked it. Let us know if you liked us doing a little quick blurb. Let us know if you'd prefer us straight up spoil movies. I'm game for either or, really.
I think we did a good job of not telling you exactly what happens in the...
Mm-hmm. Trying to keep it as spoiler-free as possible for everyone so everyone can go out and watch it. And I fucking hate spoilers.
I like spoilers. I think we talked about this.
We have.
I go out of my way for spoilers, but only for certain things, okay? Only for certain things. I have had things spoiled for me in the past that I did not want spoiled, and I know that it's a crappy feeling.
Okay, so this next point is certainly an interesting one for me. So this was published September 28th. Toronto Mayor John Tory is open to discussions of public drinking in parks. So right after we get Buck-a-Beer from the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, the mayor of Toronto's like, fuck it, we can drink stuff in parks. It's not the way you put it. He thinks it's time to reconsider the bylaw, especially...
So right now the bylaw is... So drinking alcohol in a city park under Toronto Municipal Code, Chapter 608, Parks. Drinking is not allowed in city parks unless authorized by a permit in an enclosed area.
Oh, man. I do it all the time, so it doesn't really matter.
I have drank in many parks, from beer to wine to whiskey.
All of it. We're greasy fucks, so what do you expect? His reasoning behind this is because of the legalization of marijuana. Because the rule on marijuana was legalized is you can smoke marijuana wherever you can smoke a cigarette. So he just wants to take a look at the bylaws. A quote is,
I think it does raise the question of people who quite frankly already have a glass of wine or a beer in the park. We have to be honest about this. A lot of people are doing it and are already hiding it, and we should just talk about whether responsible people...
This part gets me.
We should just talk about whether responsible people, which most people are, could be allowed to have a glass of wine or a beer in the park.
Now, a glass of wine or a beer,
Who the hell is going to go to a park
and have
with
one?
a glass of wine?
You mean a box of wine
I've been in parks
and a 2-4?
drinking wine out of a bag.
Well, the article mentioned that he knows that people are already doing that. So he's like, "What? Why? Like, what? No one's actually cracking down on this problem. No one. You don't have police perusing the parks and being like, oh, whoop, that's obviously booze in that bag of yours."
Now, I assume this is coinciding with the legalization of marijuana in Canada.
Well, yes.
It's
Yes.
if you are able to, I think this is where it's going, able to smoke weed, smoke marijuana anywhere that you're able to smoke a cigarette, why then should you not be allowed to drink in the same places, or at least don't put it as much of a what's the word?
Stigma, hatred, boobaloo shloo.
Don't put as much of a boobalooba shloo on drinking in the same areas, or at least widen the amount of areas you're allowed to legally drink in.
Right, and I think the other thing too is that he wants to not have those people bitch and chew. I mean, I am a drinker. I love drinking, but I'm not gonna be one of those people like, well, if you can start ripping bongs in the fucking park, I should be able to crack open a 2-4.
Now it's just gonna be a fucking free for all.
Literally
If you
gonna
can
be-
do a 2-4, then I'm gonna shoot up heroin beside this family having a picnic.
Right, fuck. Or better yet, it's okay. Hey, bud, I just got this here pack of cool for 440, bud, and I'm just gonna be able to crack her in a fucking park, pal.
Hey there, Mr. 6-year-old boy, how you doing? I'm just gonna drink this fucking cheap beer beside you, bud.
The whole thing of this law too is to make subject to reasonable restrictions. And I've had friends, I posted a status about this a while back, and I had friends immediately say interesting things, like one of them which is, so if I drink in a fucking park and I stand up from that park bench and I start wandering home, am I gonna get busted for public intoxication? Because I mean, in theory, that's what you're doing. You drank in the fairly legal park, now you're walking on the street. Whoop.
Supposedly, the idea of and the talk of legalizing alcohol consumption in parks, it's coming up in Toronto. It's coming up in Vancouver as well. Honestly, I think it could have to be with... We have a municipal election coming up right now, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think this is a way for John Tory to try to get more votes by seeming more open-minded?
Every fucking thing they say at this point is to get more votes. Oh, look at that! I'm gonna make puppies fly. Vote for me.
Look at it that way, though, in terms of right before a new election, right before legalization. Hey, drinking in parks, am I right? Vote for me.
This sounds like someone else we know. Cough, cough, Doug Ford. The thing is, believe it or not, last September, the city's Parks and Environments Committee did vote in favor of doing a study on something in Philadelphia. Philadelphia has something called Philadelphia's Parks on Tap program. So it's a mobile beer truck that travels the city and turns parks into temporary beer gardens. Now, Philly Parks on Tap is in partnership with the Philadelphia Parks and Recreation and the Fairmount Park Conservatory. So its aim is to get the community more involved in parks, and a portion of the proceeds go back into funding parks and stuff. So maybe if the city did that, that'd be a lot better. You'd have an actual bartender. You wouldn't need a bouncer or anything, but you'd have professional people doing things. Instead of just some schmuck like me walking in with a 12-pack and just fucking having at her. So they did look into that. So now the funniest thing about all of this, Doug Ford made the buck of beer thing, made that his biggest thing. Tyler, how do you think he feels on this topic?
When you first brought this up, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is, well, I'm sure he'd be okay with drinking in public spaces, parks, beaches, whatever, right?
The answer to that is no, he's not, actually. Doug Ford does not like it. He doesn't back it. He personally does not.
It was surprising to me. I honestly did not expect that.
He personally does not believe in it and doesn't think it's a good idea. And in fact, John Tory has not stated whether he actually personally likes it or not. He's just willing to bring up the discussion. He hasn't been like, I love drinking in parks. But
here's a quote I have right here from John Tory on the topic of people drinking in parks.
I know from being in the parks now that it's quite a widespread practice of people having a glass of wine, and it doesn't seem the world has come to an end as a result of that.
I love how he always brings up a glass of wine. No, Mayor Tory, you're seeing people chugging fucking liquor out of bottles, brah.
Well, the worst part is my biggest fear is you go through a park and people are shit-faced, and they're now allowed
And see,
to
and
be
I'm thinking of
shit-faced.
places you want to bring a family out. Like you bring your family out, you go on a family outing. You want to have a lunch. You want to just go for a nice walk through the park. You don't want your kids seeing young adults and homeless people and whoever just getting shit faced.
You guys have this picnic going on, and then some guy stumbles through like, it's fucking,
Of course, it's not going to be everyone who's like that. Like, there's some people who they don't give a fuck. They're out there to get blasted. They don't care who's there. There's people who are going to follow, not the rules, but people who have more common sense
Morals.
and courtesy, decency. To, yes, I'm going to drink in this park, but I realize there might be kids around, there might be families around, they'll conceal it. Unfortunately, I feel that there's more people who will abuse this than there are people with decency and courtesy.
Always is.
Because he brought up the topic of drinking in parks and beaches, should it be legalized in Toronto? So Doug Ford, our premier in Ontario, plans to sit down with Tory to talk about this because he's against it, as far as we know. And he even described Tory as being all for drinking in the parks now.
Of course, because that's how politicians work. Oh, you brought up an idea. That's all you believe in. That's it. All you. That's every fiber of your fucking being.
I guess we can leave it at that. All the listeners out there, honestly, give us your opinion on this, especially if you live in Toronto, you live in Ontario or Canada. Is this happening in Vancouver right now if you're listening from there? What do you think about drinking in public, be it a park, a beach, drinking on the streets, What's your opinion on it? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Why?
Do you think Doug Ford is right in calling John Tory a fucking raging public alcoholic? Or do you think
Direct quote.
direct quote? It's in my next campaign run. Or do you think that is John Tory in the right idea here, where he knows that people that drink are going to come out and be like, well, they're just smoking weed in front of my kids. I should be able to do the thing that's technically legal in front of my kids, even though at that point marijuana will be legal. Let us know. Tweet us. Do the fucking Facebook thing.
At the end of the day, someone's going to be mad and someone's going to be happy. Don't matter what it is.
Literally, that is exactly how life works. But to change gears entirely and go into something a little bit more on the happier note, let's talk about how awesome Canada is for a second here.
Yeah, you know what? I love Canada.
And I'm very proud of a certain Canadian. Her name is Donna Strickland. She's an associate professor at U of W. Represent. And she's the first woman in 55 years, fucking long time, and the third ever woman to win a Nobel Prize in physics. So essentially, Strickland and an individual named, I'm going to fucking slaughter his name, Gerard Moreau, I believe, from France. They helped develop short, intense laser pulses that, quote,
opened up new areas of research and led to broad industrial and medical applications,
unquote. And that's from the Swedish Royal Academy of Sciences. So, essentially, basically, it was just laser work. I don't know. I can't get into the nitty gritty of it. I don't really understand how lasers work. But the fact that we have a Canadian woman win a Nobel Prize in physics for doing something, because lasers are an untapped source of medical care that we do know a little bit about, but we haven't been able to expand that much. So imagine if this could be able to fix various things. It could be able to go inside and fix things that we can't access. Maybe it can kill fucking cancer, Maybe it has the ability to actually kill cancer cells better than chemotherapy and all that kind of stuff. So, Donna Strickland making us proud as Canadians.
Making history.
But on the flip side of the story, there's a funny part of it. So there's an Ontario woman with the same fucking name, and she's shocked by her sudden fame. So Donna Strickland, not the same that won the Nobel Prize, woke up to Facebook friend requests that she doesn't know, woke up to messages, and woke up to various things. And like, apparently a quote from her is, I turned on my phone and it was just like ding, 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 ding. Strickland, a 62-year-old Cambridge, Ontario resident, told CTV News. So she's received dozens of friend requests and messages from scientists, from engineers, and all of them are wrongly believing she's the 59-year-old Donna Strickland. So
Are their names spelled the same?
Exact same.
And they're both from Canada.
Yep. I like it. I found it really cute, and you don't get to hear about that kind of stuff often. But imagine being this woman waking up one day and be like, congratulations on your Nobel Prize win. My what now? What? I was playing Candy Crush last night. I got a high score in that, if that's what you mean. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the story of the two Donnas. But yeah, very proud to be a Canadian in that regard. Very proud to hear about that kind of stuff.
Shout outs to Donna Strickland.
The other winners, there was an American, Arthur Ashkin, and the French Gerard Moreau, who helped Donna develop the laser technology, the laser application. Oh, so I guess we may as well fucking talk about it because it's silly. We've literally soundproofed this place as much as we can off of a budget of $0. We've used pillows that Tyler and Isla have in cohorts for some reason. That's the wrong word, but fucking tons and tons of pillows. Holy crap. We put blankets in front of the archway so we cut down on echoing. If we put a blanket over top of me, I'd be cubed in. We have the couch cushion beside me. We have pillows behind my microphone. We have pillows beside the couch cushion. We have Tyler over there has pillows around him as well. We have ourselves as cubed in as possible. You're probably hearing the rattle of the computer chair that's keeping the pillows from falling so I can lean into them like a lazy bastard I am. Yeah, so we've tried to soundproof this place as much as possible. We're working as hard as we can to do this as rogue as possible. But if it looks stupid and it works, it ain't stupid.
It's just stupid looking.
Just stupid looking. That's what my parents used to call me as a kid. So, Tyler, someone that you're pretty fond of, who's not from Canada, was recently in the city for the last week or so, give or take. So you want to talk a little bit about him?
Yes, I do. So, honestly, I don't think I've known about him for much more than a year. Basically, he has a Facebook page. I believe he might have a YouTube as well, but I mainly follow him on Facebook. He goes by Nas Daily, Nas Daily. Basically, he's a guy who made a mission a couple years ago to make daily 1-minute videos and travel the world and showcase wherever he is, the people, the culture, what he's doing, what's going on. He wants to make 1,000 videos. He's currently at, I believe, 910 as of earlier today. So he's nearing the end of his journey. Very inspirational videos. They're really fun to watch. Quick to digest because they're only a minute or so each. And he recently, this past week, came to Toronto. So I got really excited. I wanted to go see him because wherever he films his videos, he opens it up to locals to come and be part of it, especially for, big group shots and whatever. Isla and I decide to go out that day. It's very poor weather. It's kind of cold. It's only 5 or 10 degrees Celsius. It's raining that day. It's not that windy, but it's kind of cold and ugly. We decide to make it out anyway. It's down by the waterfront in Toronto at the Toronto Music Garden, I believe it's called. That's where Nas decided to do the filming. Posted between 5 and 7 meetup for anyone who wants to come. There was a good couple hundred people that went there. I was following a WhatsApp group just so I knew what was going on down by the lake. Anyway, Isla and I make our way down there. We're slowly walking along the waterfront towards where we've read that the filming is going to be taking place, the meetup, everything. We approach what seems to be a big crowd, so we're like, okay, this has to be it. We get closer, where the music garden is down by the lake. You got the walkway along the harbor, you got all the boats there, and then right beside that, behind that, there is a grassy area. There's lots of flowers and plants when it's a better time of year. So it kind of goes up on a hill. There's a pathway. We walk up the hill. There's like a little gazebo part at the top too. It's really pretty. We walk up towards the gazebo area, walk around, and we see the big crowd. Again, there are probably a couple hundred people. I don't know. I didn't count. But there's a good turnout. I was really happy. I didn't... Isla and I both don't have proper glasses right now. We are both supposed to wear glasses, so I could technically see Nas from a distance, but he was blurry. We'd share the glasses, but he was still kind of far, so I could tell that he was there, and I could faintly hear him yelling to the crowd. So anyway, we walk up, we're behind the crowd, we're at the top of the hill. The hill kind of slopes down with seats and ledges. So all the people are obviously in this semicircular hill area. So you got people at the bottom and people at the top, because he posted that he wants people to be in an area with public steps or something, so that he could layer the crowd up and get a really nice shot of the crowd that shows up. So Isla and I are at the back. We can't really see what's going on. We see there's benches everywhere at the top of the hill, down the hill, whatever. There's people standing on the benches, and so Isla's like, well, let's go stand on some of those benches. We can get a better look. Or maybe I suggested it. If I suggested it, I'm sorry for what's about to come. So whoever suggested it, we went to stand on one of the benches. We hop up. We're getting a better view over the tops of people's heads, but we still can't see down the slope towards where Nas is actually commanding the filming, giving directions, everything. So I hop off the bench, and I'm like, hey, there's an opening around the left side of the crowd. We can probably get a better view there. So I'm hopped down. Isla's about to jump off the bench. I put my arms out, ready to help her down. It was quick. What I remember happening was essentially when she went to get off the bench, because remember, it's cold, it's rainy, it's wet everywhere, she slipped, and when she hit the ground, there was also a mud puddle under the bench. She rolled on her ankle when she hit the ground, and it was hard, and she went straight to the ground. I felt so bad, because the only reason she was there in the first place is because I wanted to see Nos Daily so bad. And so she's just like within a fraction of a second from the top of the bench to just back down on the ground, and just, she's a trooper, because I'm sure this fucking hurt a lot, and she just kind of like squished her face and just and like she really sucked it up. I thought, I turn around to look at the crowd I'm thinking, oh, there's going to be I just ruined a bunch of people's time. A bunch of people are going to be like, oh my God, are you okay? No, virtually nobody fucking noticed. We didn't cause a huge scene. Obviously, Isla was really good about it. She was like, I'm sure, again, she was in a lot of pain. She kept it together, but I thought at least a few people would notice that a person just completely fucking toppled off a bench. There were 2 girls there. If they somehow are listening to this, thank you. Thank you again for being there. Great help. So these 2 girls notice what happened. One of the girls says, oh my God, are you okay? Do you need help? Other girl, do you need us to call an ambulance? They're genuinely concerned. Isla's like, no, I'm fine. The one girl says, there's a Starbucks down the street. I can go get you some ice. And Isla's I thought Isla was gonna be like, no, it's fine, because she doesn't want the attention, she's that type of person. But she's like, yeah, if you could, please. And I'm just like, oh my God, fuck this. I feel so bad, because again, I'm the one who dragged Isla here. Now this girl who we don't even know is running to go get ice for us. And I can only assume, obviously she's here with her friends to see Nas. This is an experience they want to have. So here's what really gets me about the whole situation is, while Isla's on the ground, I'm like, are you okay? What can I do? Oh my God, I'm useless right now. This girl has gone to fucking Starbucks, I don't know, a block away, 2 blocks away. I didn't even know where it was to get ice for Isla. And during that time that the girl was gone, they did all of the main scenes for the shoot for the video. So because we got there again, the meetup was 5 to 7. We got there around 6:20 maybe. I'm not sure when they started doing the main filming, but I think the first part was just Q&A and talking with Nas, meeting him. They were doing like the main shots where he gets these wide crowd shots where everybody is saying a certain phrase or saying something that he's telling them to say. Like, for instance, for us, I think he got them to say like nice and sorry, generic Canadian things. But so he's getting these crowd shots. And this girl was gone for all of it. And I'm pretty sure she would have been in the shots if she were there for it. I hope that she at least got to meet him, or maybe she was in some shots that I didn't notice. But this girl finally got back with the ice for Isla, and I'm pretty sure most of the crowd shots were done by then. So thank you so much for doing that for Isla. I'm sure she is very grateful too. I'm so sorry you had to miss that once in a lifetime opportunity for that. So to sum it up, Isla got a really bad sprained ankle out of it. We are both actually in that video. Episode 906 of Nos Daily, if you go check it out. Isla and I are in the top right-hand corner of the video after about 10 seconds or so. You can see us sitting on a bench together. And what's funny about those shots is that, so it's the big crowd of people. Basically, he had the large crowd together to begin with, and then he would get sections of the crowd to move away, and then he would take separate shots, so that when you're watching the video, it starts off with nobody, and there's a T for Toronto, I'm assuming, because he was here. I don't think he explicitly mentions why the T is there or what it's for anyway. So it starts off empty, and then sections of people start appearing until it's a full crowd. So you can watch that in the video, and we're in the top right corner. And what's funny about that is that where we were sitting, we're on the bench where Isla fell off of, and she obviously just wanted to sit and chill out. But what ended up happening, again, in the video, there's certain parts where they did single shots with people. I forget what he got them to say sorry or hello in different languages, because one of his next video is about different languages in Toronto. Anyway, we could realize when he was dispersing the crowd bit by bit that there was then another separate crowd coming up exactly to where we were sitting, and Isla had her hurt ankle. And so Isla's like, they're coming to film here. And I'm like, no. She's like, we need to move. I'm like, fuck. And so I had to help as best I could to get Isla off the bench. And she could put virtually no pressure on this foot. Like, she really fucked it up for that. The first couple days were the worst if you've ever sprained an ankle. We had to, or she had to, and I had to help, hobble her over to the next set of benches on the other side, because then I forget his name, I'm so sorry. The guy who helps Nas with his videos, tall white guy, he was filming like the separate shots of all the people. Him and a crowd came over to the bench that we were sitting on, and they shot a bunch of stuff there, and so we had to move out of their shot. And so actually when you're watching the video 906 and you see us in the top right corner, if you watch it, you'll notice how we look very quizzical. It's almost, I think there's at least one frame where I'm kind of looking like high up, like what's going on down there? Because we're trying to figure out what they're doing with the crowd, and oh shit, we realize we need to move.
And that's how Tyler met someone he's been pretty fond of for a bit. How did you meet your one of your stars? It was accidentally in a video of his, but I was trying to be there intentionally.
It was crazy too, because right after the big crowd shots, and they were filming like the separate thing up top where we were sitting. The main bulk of the filming was done, and Nas was down at the base of the landing down the slope of like the steps and everything, and there was just a lineup of almost everyone else in the entire crowd waiting to get selfies with him. And we were there until, again, the meetup was 5 to 7. We were there until 7:30, maybe quarter to 8 before we finally left. I was part of the WhatsApp group and people are posting pictures and whatever. At as late as like 9:15, I think, 9:20, people were still posting in the WhatsApp group with them getting their selfie with Nas. So he was actually down there for well over 2 hours past what the meetup was supposed to be, just taking selfies with people. So props to him. Really cool. I did not expect that he would have done that. Yeah, go check him out. Fuck, sit back, watch all 900 some odd episodes he's got up so far.
He's at how many days left now?
I think today was 9/10, so I think he's got 90 days left, which is 3 months. He's almost done. He's had quite the journey. Traveled the world, making videos everywhere. Right before Toronto, he was in China, I think Hong Kong.
I do know that he liked Canada a lot, which I enjoy.
Oh man, he was S&R friggin' maple syrup covered D's.
Oh, buddy, was he ever? It was just like, Canada is so happy and multicultural, and they love everyone, and they're so nice. And his whole episode on language, he's talking in his native tongue, I assume.
Arabic.
Of Arabic.
Yep.
And he's like, usually around the world, people look at you weird and they get afraid. He's like, except for in Canada. And he found all the Arabic people in fucking Toronto and it like interviewed them and stuff. And it's just, it's nice to have these again. When I was a kid, you always hear Canada are peacekeepers. Canada is nice. People there are awesome and amazing and yada, 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 yada. But then as I grew up, it stopped turning into that. It started turning into more like Canada sucks like every other fucking place in the world sucks. But it's good to hear this shit again. It's good to hear that we have a female physicist winning a Nobel Prize from Canada. We have someone that came here and he's traveled around the world and he's saying that we're one of the nicest countries. And yeah, we have our faults and shit, but what doesn't? Who doesn't? You know? Canada's still a great place, eh? Fucking love her to death.
Go Canada.
Go Canada, bud. Have you met any stars? Have you met any of your dream crushes? I know I have a bunch of friends and family that have, but of our listeners, have you met your idols? Have you met anybody like that out in public? Hell, it could be a fucking random encounter. You're like, yeah, I accidentally kicked Daniel Radcliffe in the nuts one time because reasons. Did you do that? Do you want to make it up? I don't give a shit. I don't know. Tell us a story about that kind of stuff. I have a good one about when I met Colin Mockery. It's pretty quick. We were in Newfoundland for a baseball tournament, and we had like 7 hours to kill.
How old were you?
18. Before our next game. I remember as 18 because I was very upset that trip because I was like, I can't do anything that I want to do. I'm literally a year too young. But so my father, who was the coach of this team, and our assistant coach, they were like, let's go to this brewery that I think it was called like Mini Vinny or something like that brewery. And I was like, but Dad, like I can't get in. I'm 18. He's like, whatever, it's doing. They won't card you. They don't care. He wasn't completely wrong because we get in and the woman's like, it's just, I can't do a Newfie accent. It goes into Irish, but she's like, it's just starting. Go upstairs. You came just in time. So we get upstairs and this guy's describing beer and stuff and we're getting to taste beer and everything. And I see this guy at the next table, and I'm staring him down. Like, I'm glaring into his soul. Like, there's no fucking way you're actually Colin Mockery. That's impossible. Fuck you. It's impossible. My dad, who hasn't really seen me drink before, keeps going, Are you okay? Is everything okay? Yes, Dad. Shut the fuck up. I'm looking at this man, all right?
Don't mind me. I'm staring into another man's soul.
Let me just admire this man, okay? So, eventually this section of the tour finishes, and he's like, okay, we're going to go through the actual brewery. So I stand up, and I look at this man, and I go, hi there. I'm sorry. You look really familiar, and I just can't place you. Do I actually know you from somewhere? And he goes, you may know me from TV. And I was like, you are Colin Mockery. Oh, my God. And his wife was like, I knew it. I knew you recognized him the moment you walked in. I was like, Yeah, I had a fucking chub the moment I walked in. I was at half mast the moment I walked in. So I'm following this guy like, oh my fucking God. It's one of my favorite comedians with the same name, even though it's spelled wrong, as me in the same room in a brewery that I'm in illegally. So my dad's like, get an autograph. I'm like, yeah, with the pen and paper I have up my asshole. What the fuck? What am I gonna do? Make him sign my fucking shirt? So he's like, get a picture of him. I'm like, no. He's on his vacation, and I have a thing about going to stars and to famous people and bothering them when they're trying to be just a normal average Joe. But my dad walks up and goes, hey, I hate to do this, but my son Colin. Nah. He didn't do that, but I would have.
And then he gets stuck. He's just
Colin Walker's like, I've seen this before. I know the solution. But he's like, my son Colin, huge fan of yours. Do you mind if he gets a picture? So he's like, of course not. So the picture I have the creepiest smile known to mankind.
Oh God, were you tilting your head forward, like chin down?
I think so. I look like I was gonna fucking skin him alive and wear him. I look creepy. I have the biggest grin ever. Like, I'm like, oh my God. He looks unimpressed as fuck. I look like I'm gonna murder him in like 5 minutes. I look like the moment this picture is taken, everyone turns away and I'm like, hello, Mr. Mockery. It's time for me to make skin clothing out of your skin. So yeah, that was my favorite star encounter, I think. Completely accidental, fucking 1 in a million chance, because we were just like, let's go here, let's do this. So yeah, that was my favorite celebrity encounter that I've ever had. I'm still waiting for my Emma Watson one. I've paid to see her and she wasn't there. So I'm waiting. I am waiting patiently. I may add, patiently. I think. What about you, Tyler? Any special star encounters?
What's the girl from Popular Mechanics for Kids when we were kids?
Holy shit.
Blonde-haired girl. She
Yeah,
was.
thanks. You can fucking describe her. I won't remember her name.
Oh God.
Holy fuck.
She.
Make me reach for that one.
Oh my goodness. She was married to like a hockey player, Leafs hockey player.
Yeah, because what woman hasn't been at this point?
Oh goodness. Alicia Cuthbert.
Right. Sure.
So
fucked if I remember.
where Colin and I used to work, we used to actually get quite a few celebrities coming in.
Michael Keaton.
Mitchell Crayon.
Yeah, we got Michael Keaton. I got to see fucking Dee Snider. I got to talk to Donald Sutherland, and I almost shit myself when I did it. And I don't have Crohn's in this room.
I didn't see Dee Snider at work, but I did see him around the corner at the Starbucks, and I stopped for a moment because I knew who he was, and I'm like, no.
He was in there, and that day, our sous chef followed him around like a puppy dog.
I think at the time he had a play in the
He
city.
did. It was a musical, and I because of a friend of mine, I fucking love her dearly. But if she hears this, I fucking hate you, you piece of shit. He went to the theater she worked at because she worked at a small theater, Rainbow Cinemas here in Toronto, and or she worked at the Carlton, I guess, to be specific. He showed up, and they had a rule that he could not pay for a movie. He couldn't pay for a movie. He wasn't allowed to pay for a movie. And so she told him, you can't pay, sir, I'm sorry. And he's like, what? She's like, we're not allowed to do that. So he gave her like 7 of his business cards for his fucking Christmas play. His business cards were metal. I have a metal Dee Snider Christmas Carol fucking business card. Metal. So I could literally start to throw it like a ninja star and kill somebody.
That's so cool.
It's insane. Yeah, he was in. Donald Sutherland was nuts, and they made me go talk to him. I've seen Lawrence Fishburne a bajillion times.
Oh, was he
Morpheus.
Yeah, I've seen him so many times. He used to shop a lot where we used to work.
Every Thanksgiving and Christmas, you'd fucking see him come in for a turkey. And I remember the first time I saw him, it was when I first started. It was like a month after I had first started, and I cried. I was like,
but then after that, you're just like, oh
and
yeah,
after
he's
that, I
just
was
a
like,
regular.
He's a regular. Donald Sutherland, again, I got to speak to him.
Geddy Lee was in there.
Yep. I at the one location we both worked at, I wasn't there for this, but apparently Nick Cage showed up. Peter Dinklage.
I wasn't fortunate enough for that one.
Peter Dinklage showed up. I liked it. Mike Babcock, coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, showed up, and I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Oh, I think he was there a few times actually.
Yeah, he goes there quite often.
Avril Lavigne, and I don't know if she's still with him, but what was his name? The Nickelback guy.
Chad Kroger. Chad Kroger.
Yeah, they were there together years ago. This was a while ago.
I was gonna say what? Jesus.
It wasn't. Yeah, not recently.
Yesterday.
Honestly, most of my celebrity encounters were at my last job.
My first major one was that clusterfuck of an accident.
I still think Nas Daily is my favorite, and I didn't even get to meet him.
But you're in the video. Which
I'm in the video, and I
you
have a
found
good
out
story.
You found out the day after because you watched it 100 times for shits and giggles.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that we were in it until the 100th time I watched it.
And you were like, oh, Colin, look at this. Look in the right fucking side of the screen. And I'm like, holy shit, the blue sweater that Isla and you were wearing.
Yep.
And now Isla's a gimp.
She's not doing too bad now. It's been
She's a cane. She's a fucking cripple.
she only had the cane for the first couple days.
Cripple. Isla, when you listen to this, you're a fucking cripple.
Isla, when you listen to this, I love you.
I don't. You're a cripple. All right, everyone. That will do it for us on this wonderful days / evening / whatever the fuck podcast. Thank you all very much for listening. Remember, go to our Facebook page, like it. Go to our Twitter, follow it. Go to our SoundCloud, follow it as well.
Are you not going to get angry at them and say, you better fucking follow this shit?
You like the Facebook page, I swear to God. Go to our YouTube, subscribe to it. Please give us comments, suggestions, questions. We want to hear them. We just want to know what everyone, what direction people think this podcast should go. Do you like what you're doing? Do you hate what we're doing? I mean, if you hate it, we won't change it because fuck you. But if you hate it, let us know. Just let us know.
I mean, I'm down for change, you know? Change. Change.
Afraid to say, Tyler. Speaking of changes, there's a new change. You've been fired from one of the buds, and I am actually bringing on my glowing stormtrooper as the new bud.
Hey, I'm glowing stormtrooper.
So anyway, thank you all very much, and just give her, eh?
Just give her.